This week, reading about the controversy surrounding Melania Trump's plagiarizing a paragraph of Michelle Obama's speech to the Democratic Convention in 2008, well, unlike virtually every other member of the commentariat, I couldn't care less. I thought it may be rated a mention, but not 27 hours of nonstop commentaries by men and women whose practice of sort of groupthink casts a big shadow on their claim to original thought. But nonetheless, there is one aspect that caught my attention in both speeches. They not only talked about and celebrated hard work, they stated that any goal is achievable through hard work. I kind of heard that and went, say what? You certainly don't hear that in Canada. The concept of working hard and linking it to rewards, including higher wages, is virtually never mentioned. We don't celebrate success. Or those individuals who earn higher incomes because they work harder or many times spend a heck of a lot more time and money getting the necessary training, are more creative and innovative, took higher risks. Actually, it's worse than that. Not only we don't celebrate it, we denigrate it. For many Canadians, it's as if those people have done something wrong. A lot of the time, it's nobody gets successful without screwing someone else attitude. And of course, the top income earners, I'm talking about medical specialists who spent 12 or more years in training, racking up literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, or the entrepreneur who started a business, worked 80 hours plus a week, or a veterinarian who started their own business and 20 years later may start seeing a return on their money in time, and many more. But they never pay their fair share of taxes. That's the mantra. It was arguably the main theme of the Liberals in the federal election. Relentless ads telling us that they'll increase taxes on anyone making over $200,000. Now, polls suggest that not only did the public agree, but thought the number should cover the top 10% of income earners, about 85,000. And of course, my point, no mention that somebody may have actually worked hard to earn that money. The debate over wealth distribution dominates the political agenda under the guise of social justice or demanding someone else pay their fair share, which in essence is the precursor for getting someone else to pay for services we want. I mean, I always laugh when I hear somebody demand things like free university tuition, as if any service is free. No, they just want someone else to pay. The truth is that before wealth is redistributed, it's got to be earned. I love economist Thomas Sowell's question when he says, what is your fair share of what somebody else has earned? Obviously, a lot of Canadians, they don't want much of an answer to that. Well, they actually think it's most of it. So it helps if you don't acknowledge that some people actually worked very hard. See, it's tougher to rationalize then, so it's better to ignore it. What I'm wondering today, though, is where does this lead? Maybe it's the underlying case of huge government debt levels. Persistence of deficits makes it clear that regularly we're not willing to pay for services we want from government. The implications for policy seem pretty obvious. With wealth redistribution, that takes precedent over incentives for economic growth. But the impact on society seems even more profound. I invite you to break with the mainstream political dialogue and just simply ask, what do you think the consequences for society are if we denigrate hard work and success? What are the consequences when we see virtue in doing less instead of more? These are tough questions, especially for some people, because they immediately have to fall back on some political or philosophical or ideological hobby horse. But I'm not asking about your personal philosophy. I'm saying step back. I'm asking on a more practical level. What are the implications for society? What happens to our standard of living? What happens to our level of personal satisfaction and happiness? I guess I'm asking ultimately, this is the road we're on, but do we really want to go there? Because I don't see it leading to a happy place.